Hello students, in previous lecture we have studied about the chemical equilibrium, law of mass action and ionic equilibria and about electrolytes and types of electrolytes. Today we are going to discussing about the degree of dissociation. Degree of dissociation of electrolytes. See here, all of you studied about that. Electrolytes are of two types, that is strong electrolytes. That is, for example, HCl, H2SO4, NaOH and KOH like electrolytes are a few examples of strong electrolytes, and there are few weak electrolytes. Example of weak electrolyte, that is acetic acid, that is also known as vinegar, citric acid, formic acid, ammonium hydroxide, ammonia, like weak electrolytes. Then all of you studied about that. Strong electrolytes dissociate completely or almost it dissociated completely, and weak electrolyte dissociate very feebly. That means here, in short, strong electrolyte dissociate in larger extent. That means that extent of dissociation can be calculated by using one more concept, that is degree of dissociation of electrolytes. And weak electrolyte dissociate very feebly. That means extent of dissociation of weak electrolyte is very less. Then to calculate, to determine the extent of dissociation by using term, that is degree of dissociation. That degree of dissociation is denoted by alpha. That is the sign alpha is used for degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte. Degree of dissociation is nothing but it is extent, praman of extent of dissociation of that particular electrolyte. Then see here, for example, we have to calculate the degree of dissociation of strong electrolyte or weak electrolyte or any electrolyte. Then we use the formula for degree of dissociation of weak electrolyte, that is alpha is equals to, it is a fraction of, that is number of moles undergoes dissociated ions upon total number of moles of electrolytes. Then see here, that means degree of dissociation is nothing but it is a fraction of number of moles dissociated in aqueous medium at equilibrium. That is the degree of dissociation. That means see here, for example, suppose CH3COOH when dissolved in aqueous medium. See here, suppose there are 10 moles of acetic acid dissolved in given amount of water. Then out of 10 moles, if only 2 moles of CH3COH get dissociated into CH3CO minus plus H plus in aqueous medium, then out of 10 moles only 2 moles of CH3COH get dissociated. Therefore, when 2 moles of acetic acid get dissociated, then that solution contains 2 moles of CH3CO minus and 2 moles of H plus ion, and the 8 moles of acetic acid remains undissociated. 8 moles of acetic acid remains undissociated, and here equilibrium, that is ionic equilibrium, is attained in dissociated ions, that is CH3CO minus and H plus, and undissociated molecules of acetic acid. Then we can calculate the degree of dissociation of this electrolyte. That see here, alpha is equals to, here when we can calculate the number of moles of dissociated ions, it at only equilibrium stage. That means when equilibrium is attained, जेव्हा equilibrium attain होईल तेव्हा आपण टोटल ॲसिटिक ॲसिडचे किती मोल्स डिसोसिएट झाले ते कॅल्क्युलेट करायचे. दॅट मीन्स वी कॅन कॅल्क्युलेट डिसोसिएटेड मोल्स बिफोर इक्विलिब्रियम इज अटेन्ड. इक्विलिब्रियम अटेन्ड होण्या अगोदर पण आपण नंबर ऑफ मोल्स कॅल्क्युलेट करू शकतो डिसोसिएटेड मोल्स, बट वी कॅनॉट calculate the alpha, that is degree of dissociation of that weak electrolyte correctly. Therefore, when equilibrium is attained in any electrolyte when dissolved in water or in aqueous medium, then after equilibrium is attained in this electrolyte, ions and unionized molecule of electrolyte, then we can calculate the total number of moles of dissociated ions. That means see here, there is a total number of moles of dissociated ions at equilibrium upon total number of moles dissolved at start. We dissolve 10 moles, total 10 moles dissolved in the given amount of aqueous in solvent in aqueous medium. Therefore, here total 10 moles dissolved in given amount of aqueous solution. Out of 10 moles, only 2 moles get dissociated. That is the fraction which is obtained is 1/5, or it may be in decimal fraction, it is 0.2. That means here alpha is 0.2. That means degree of dissociation of acetic acid, this electrolyte, is 0.2. That means degree of dissociation is nothing but it is a fraction of number of moles dissociated in aqueous medium at equilibrium. There are two conditions: in aqueous medium as well as at equilibrium we can calculate the degree of dissociation. Then that degree of dissociation we can calculate in fraction as well as it can be calculated in percentage. Therefore, percentage dissociation, percentage dissociation of electrolyte is alpha into 100. Therefore here the value of alpha is 0.2 into 100. Therefore here 20% dissociation, that is degree of dissociation of this weak electrolyte. That means here degree of dissociation is only 20% of acetic acid. Therefore it is a weak electrolyte. Why? Because percentage of dissociation of this electrolyte is less. It is less than 50%. Or when strong electrolyte is used to calculate the degree of dissociation, HCl, it dissociates almost completely and it gives H plus and Cl minus. Suppose out of 10 moles of HCl, 8 moles get dissociated. Therefore here degree of dissociation of HCl electrolyte can be calculated. That is alpha is equals to, out of 10 moles 8 moles get dissociated. Therefore here 0.8 is the degree of dissociation of that HCl, and that means therefore alpha, percentage alpha is 80%. That means here degree of dissociation of HCl is 80%. Therefore it is a strong electrolyte. That means we can determine the strength of or extent of dissociation as well as type of electrolyte, whether it is a strong electrolyte or weak electrolyte, can be calculated by using this term, degree of dissociation. That means if the value of alpha is greater, then it is a strong electrolyte, and if value of alpha is small, then it is a weak electrolyte. That is about the strength of dissociation or extent of dissociation of different electrolytes, by which we can determine the whether that substance is weak electrolyte or strong electrolyte. Then we will going to discussing on the new concepts, that is few theories which is related with the that electrolytes. See here, there are different substances. It may be organic substance or inorganic substances are there, or it may be acid or base, or it may be salts. Then there are different substances which is used in everyday life. That is, and these substances, it may be acid or it may be base or it may be salt. For example, citric acid, which is present in lemon, it is acid, and the vinegar, that is acetic acid, which is present in vinegar. Vinegar, that is the substance which is used in the food sample for the preservation of food for longer time. That means in pickles the vinegar is used, and the pickles, jam, jellies are preserved for longer time. And one more thing, that is tartaric acid. Tartaric acid, which is present in tamarind. It is present in tamarind, which is examples of acids. Similarly, we use washing soda. Washing soda, which is nothing but it is a sodium carbonate, Na2CO3. Baking soda, that is nothing but it is a sodium hydrogen carbonate, as well as caustic soda, which is nothing but NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide. And these are the few examples of base. And generally we use the few substances like common salts, that is NaCl, sodium hydroxide. Then there are different types of salts which is used in daily life, which is in the form of, I have discussed about different types of salts in 11th standard. Salts are of different types. These are in the form of chlorides. For example, sodium chloride, aluminum chloride, zinc chloride, potassium chlorides, bromides, iodides, sulfates, sodium sulfate, potassium sulfate, calcium sulfate, aluminum sulfate, magnesium sulfate, zinc sulfates, sulfides are there, oxides are there, nitrates, carbonates, nitrites, phosphate, calcium phosphate, sodium phosphate, aluminates, silicates are there. That means salts are found in the nature in different forms. It may be chloride, bromide, iodide, sulfates, sulfides, carbonates, phosphate, nitrates, nitrites, etc. Then there are generally substances which is used in daily life. It may be acid or base, or it may be salt. Then there are few theories which is related with that acid and base. I am going to discuss it with you about that theories. And the first attempt, which is done by the scientist Arrhenius, tried to explain what are acids and what are base. Then the first theory which is related with that is Arrhenius theory of acid and base. First of all, see here, what is acid and what is base? According to Arrhenius, acids are the substance. These are the species. These are the electrolytes which dissociates in aqueous medium. That means when that substance dissolved in water in aqueous medium. That word is important. That means the substance when dissolved in water, that aqueous medium of that substance, if it gives H+ ion, then that substance is called as acid. For example, few examples of acid, that is HCl, when dissolved in aqueous medium, it dissociates to give H+ ion and Cl- ion. Similarly, CH3COOH, that is acetic acid. Acetic acid in aqueous medium, dissolved in aqueous medium, it gives CH3CO minus plus H plus. That means these are the substances which dissociate to give H plus ions in aqueous medium are called as acid. But see here, the H plus ion, which is also known as proton, that is H plus ion in aqueous medium, it cannot remain free. Therefore, H plus ion, it readily combines with water to give hydronium ion. H3O plus is nothing but it is a hydronium ion. That means HCl in aqueous medium, it gives H plus. That means H plus when reacts with water to give hydronium ion. Similarly, acetic acid, it dissociates in aqueous medium and gives H plus ion, that is H3O plus ion, that is hydronium ion. These substances are called as acid. Then, what is base? According to Arrhenius theory, base are the substance or species, or these are the electrolytes which dissociate in aqueous medium. Aqueous medium, that means the substance when dissolved in water in aqueous medium, it dissociates and gives OH minus ions are called as base. For example, KOH in aqueous medium, it dissociates almost completely because it is a strong electrolyte and it gives K plus OH minus. Therefore, it is a base or basic in nature. Similarly, NH4OH in aqueous medium, it dissociates to gives NH4 plus OH minus ion. Therefore, it is also base. That means, according to Arrhenius, the substance or species or electrolyte which gives H plus ion or hydronium ion, H3O plus, that is hydronium ion, are acids, and the substance, species or electrolytes which dissociates in aqueous medium and gives OH minus ions are base. For example, KOH, NH4OH like substances are base. Then, there are few drawbacks or limitations of this theory, that is Arrhenius, limitations of Arrhenius theory. Limitations of Arrhenius theory. That is, see here, first of all, Arrhenius explained the concept of acid and base in only aqueous medium. म्हणजे तो पदार्थ पाण्यामध्ये डिझॉल्व केल्यानंतर त्याचा aqueous medium आहे, त्यामध्ये तो सबस्टन्स जर H plus ion देत असेल तर that is acid, and if it gives OH minus ion in aqueous medium, then it is a base. Therefore, here aqueous medium is considered. Aqueous medium is considered to determine whether that substance is acid or base. See here, for example, HCl when dissolved in water, that means in aqueous medium, it gives H3O plus ion, that is H plus ion, and therefore HCl is an acid. But if HCl dissolved in benzene, if it is dissolved in benzene, then it does not dissociate into ions. Therefore, according to Arrhenius theory, acids and bases are explained in only aqueous medium. Only aqueous medium is considered to determine whether that substance is acid or base. In other medium, he cannot explain about the nature of that substance, whether it is acid or base. One more drawback or one more limitations of this theory is the substance like ammonia or the substance like washing soda Na2CO3, which does not give OH minus ion in aqueous medium, but till they are basic in nature. हे substance aqueous medium मध्ये OH minus ion देत नाही, but they are basic in nature. That means Arrhenius cannot explain the basic nature of these substance which does not give OH minus ion. He only explained the basicity of substance which gives only OH minus ion in aqueous medium. Then one more limitation, that is CO2 like or SO2 like substances which does not gives H plus ion or hydronium ion. Hydronium ion means H plus ions in aqueous medium when dissolved in water, but till they are acidic in nature. These are the few drawbacks or limitations of this theory, that is Arrhenius theory. Then these drawbacks are removed by the next theory, that is Bronsted-Lowery theory of acid and base. Then the Lowery and Bronsted are the scientists who made attempt to explain the acids, base or salts on the basis of only proton present in the aqueous medium of substance. Then we will discussing on Bronsted Lowery theory of acid and base. Then see here, according to this theory, acids are the substance or species or electrolytes which donates proton that is H plus ion, which donates proton to other species. That means acids are nothing but these are proton donors. Then for example, see here HCl, which donates proton to the ammonia. That is here HCl, when dissolved in aqueous medium, that means aqueous solution of HCl and aqueous solution of ammonia, it gives NH4 plus Cl minus. That means, see here, the HCl in aqueous medium, according to Arrhenius theory, it dissociates and gives H plus ion and Cl minus ion, and that H plus ion donates to the ammonia, and NH3 ammonia is converted into NH4 plus and Cl minus ions are formed here in aqueous medium. Therefore, here proton donor is the HCl, which is acid. That means HCl donates H plus ion to other species, that is ammonia. Therefore, HCl is an acid. And see here, what is base? Base are nothing but these are the species or substance or electrolytes which accepts proton from other species are called as base. Then see here, HCl, aqueous solution of HCl when reacts with aqueous solution of ammonia. Then here HCl is a proton donor, and that proton accepted by ammonia. NH3 accept H plus ion, therefore it is a proton acceptor, and converted into NH4 plus. Therefore, here NH3, that is ammonia, is base. Then see here, according to Bronsted Lowery theory, acids are proton donors and base are proton acceptors. See here, in this example, HCl donates protons to the ammonia and ammonia accepts protons from HCl, and this chemical process in which ionic equilibria is attained. That means ionic equilibria is present in this reaction or process. Therefore, see here, there is a reversible reaction in which NH4 plus ion combines with Cl minus ions, and it gives NH3 and HCl. That means here NH4 plus gives H plus ions or donates H plus ions to the HCl and converted into HCl. When NH4 plus donates H plus, that means here in reverse reaction NH4 plus is a proton donor, that is H plus donates to the Cl minus ion and converted into HCl, and NH4 plus converted into NH3. Therefore, NH4 plus is a proton donor, therefore it is an acid. And whereas Cl minus ion accepts proton from NH4 plus, therefore it is a proton acceptor. Therefore it is a base. Then see here, in this chemical equilibrium or ionic equilibria, two different acids and base are present there. Therefore, see here, there is a pair of acids and pair of base formation takes place, which is known as conjugate acid-base pair. Then conjugate acid-base pairs. Here, in the given example, in HCl is an acid, therefore we can label it as it is acid 1. And when HCl donates H plus ion to the NH3, that is ammonia, and because of donation of H plus ion proton by HCl, then Cl minus formation takes place, that is base, therefore it is a base 1. And here NH3 is a base, therefore it is a base 2, and NH4 plus is acid, therefore it is a acid 2. Therefore there are two pairs of acid and base formation takes place, that is known as conjugate acid base pair. Here one conjugate acid base pair in this example is HCl is a conjugate acid of Cl minus, not the, it is a conjugate acid pair of NH3. HCl and Cl minus are the conjugate acid base pair. Similarly, there is one more conjugate acid base pair, that is NH3 and NH4 plus are the conjugate acid base pair. Then see here one more example I am going to discussing with you according to Bronsted-Lowery theory, that is when HCl reacts with water or HCl dissolved in water, then it dissociates to gives Cl minus and H plus ion donates to the water, and H plus ion accepted by water molecule to gives H3O plus. That means here HCl is a proton donor, therefore it is an acid, and water here which accepts H plus ion from HCl, therefore it is a, water is a proton acceptor, therefore it is a base. And in reverse reaction, H3O plus, it donates proton to the Cl minus ion to give HCl and water, therefore it is a proton donor, therefore H3O plus is a acid, and Cl minus ion accepts proton from H3O plus, therefore it is a proton acceptor, therefore it is a base. Here conjugate acid base pair, here HCl is acid 1, whereas Cl minus is a base 1, therefore water is a base 2 and acid, that is H3O plus is acid 3, that are the conjugate acid base pair. Then one more example, that is according to Lowery Bronsted theory, that is ammonia when dissolved in water, that is NH3 when dissolved in water, it gives NH4 plus OH minus ion. Here water donates H plus ion to the ammonia, and ammonia accepts H plus ion, that is proton from water, therefore here water is a proton donor, therefore it is a acid, and NH3 accepts H plus ion, therefore it is a proton acceptor, therefore it is a base. And in reverse reaction, NH4 plus, it donates H plus ion to the OH minus ion, therefore it is a proton donor, therefore it is acid, and OH minus ion accepts proton from NH4 plus, therefore it is a proton acceptor, therefore it is act as a base. Therefore one more conjugate acid base pair, that is here acid 1 and here base 1, acid 2 base 2 are the conjugate acid base pair formation takes place. Then see here in two examples. See here water, in first example, in this equilibrium, water is a basic in nature, and in second example, water is acidic in nature. That means here water acts as a both role of acid and base. That means the dual nature, dual nature of water, which is also known as amphoteric nature of water. Amphoteric nature of water. That means, see here, what is amphoteric nature of water? Water, when treated with or reacts with base, it acts as acid, and water, when reacts with acid, it acts as a base. That double nature, acid as well as base, is called as amphoteric nature of water. That means here, that is about the Lowery Bronsted theory and Arrhenius theory of acid and base. Then we will be discussing about the next one theory, that is Lewis theory, in next lecture. Thank you.